Hi, I'm Monty, and I'm going to talk about the 3 in 3 or write 3 minutes in 3 hours comedy workshop. And I'm going to talk about the science and arts and the technique of writing and preparing your materials. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Trinity of comedy. Now, in the Trinity of comedy, there will be the audience, the materials, and of course, the performer. So let's talk about the audience. Now, we must know why they laugh. Now, we do not know exactly what works 100%, but we will know that if we look into certain ingredients and understand the audience, why they laugh, then the chances of success will be far greater. So the first thing we must understand about the audience is that they laugh because of 3 main reasons. Okay, there are many others, okay, which are much smaller and subsequently linked to the first 3. The first reason will be they laugh because they're surprised. Now, when they're surprised, they laugh. For example, I tell a story. Oh, I just joined a gym. And of course, on the first day, I walk into the changing room and I saw everyone in various positions of changing their clothing. And I said, what are you ladies doing in a men's room? And I walk away. Now, the surprise will be, of course, the setup, of course, is they think I'm going to the men's room and then the gym. And then I said, hey, it's a woman's room. Okay, obviously the surprise is I went into the wrong room. So that is the element of surprise. The second element is superiority. Now, once we can make the audience feel superior to us, they will laugh. For example, we make fun of ourselves, like our names, and of course our disposition, our size, our the fact that I have small eyes. Sometimes I will say, my eyes were so small when I was born. My father thought I was blind. So I make the audience feel good, or they feel exactly the same as I am. The last one is silliness. Sometimes through the acting of the performer, we act a bit of silliness there, and they laugh about it. For example, I just tell silly jokes, okay? A silly joke. What do you see when a penguin rolls down the hill? Black by black by black by black by black by black by black by. And this is silly, and people laugh, and especially kids, they laugh. They love this one. So remember, when you write a comedy, the Trinity of comedy will be the audience, the materials, and of course the performer. The first thing about the audience is you must know why they laugh, and they laugh because they're surprised. They feel superior to you, and they laugh because you are silly. Very important. Okay, the first element, of course, for the Trinity of comedy is audience, and the second one is materials, and the last one is performer. So let's talk about the materials. Now, in preparing the materials, you need this, what I would call the 6 principles of comedy writing. Okay, and this makes up of 6 items, and without which your success factor will be reduced. Now, we can call it an ingredients or whatever, like just like baking a cake, without which any of the elements or sugar, or you forgot the wrong measurement, the cake will not work. So in comedy, we have the 6 principles or 6 ingredients. The first one is target. Now, comedy, we must always remember, is dealing with a target, a person, an issue, or an idea. Now, without which, it doesn't work. Comedy is dealing with issues in a cloak of entertainment. In fact, there was a saying that goes, I can't remember the guy. He says, the issue is so serious that I have to write a joke about it to put my points through. So here it goes. The target must be important, must be very important. It must be either a person, an issue, an idea. For example, one of the shortest and the most famous line is, take my wife, please. Okay, and in this short, take my wife, it deals with 2 very important things, in fact 3 probably. My wife is a person. Everybody knows there are some family issues. Some people will have, married men will have issues sometime, okay? I do. So there is a people issue. Then the next thing is the issue will be whatever the argument may could be taking out the rubbish. So everyone knows a person and an issue. Now, and of course he paused and he said, please. And the idea is to deal with the issue. Get it out, help me sort my problems out. So target is very important for comedy writing. Target has to be either a person, an issue, or an idea. It could be a celebrity, it could be a political figure, it could be an idea such as a song with stupid lyrics, an idea to build a house on top of mountains. Somehow, comedy is about attacking and dealing with something that needs to be done. An issue, person, or idea. Don't neglect this. Okay, of the 6 principles of comedy writing for the materials, the first one of course is target, T. The second one is H, hostility. Now, hostility doesn't mean you have to be hostile and kill somebody kind of thing, but it's a feeling. And it could be a fear, it could be something we're angry with. So we use comedy to deal with the situation. Sometimes, or something we disagree upon. For example, mixed marriage. Many years ago, we wrote about this story about being a mixed marriage, me and my friend. And we wrote it this way, and he's an Indian and I'm a Chinese. And of course, they were saying, he was telling me, hey, my son is going to marry a Chinese girl. I said, oh, very smart. Your son's going to marry a Chinese girl. I tell you, Indian chappies are very smart. They know how to marry a Chinese girl to water down their color. And this is a reality that that we have to deal with. So there's something we are not very comfortable with. Now this is definitely a racial issue. Now what other issues that we have fear? Fear of education. There was a time when my son went to a school. Their time was maths and science. They were debating whether the subject of maths and science are to be taught in English or in our national language, which is Bahasa Malaysia. So I received a form and I replied, dear teacher, it doesn't matter how my son learn maths and science, whether it's English and Bahasa, as long as Bahasa and English are taught in Mandarin. So we deal with an issues which is sensitive, we are angry about, we fear. Now does it, and of course in a funny way, we get applause and to put the issue through. I of course have to reiterate this point. Someone once said, the issue is so serious I have to write a joke to put my points through. So a target, you must be something we are hostile to. Hostile in the sense of emotionally we fear, we are angry about. So when you write comedy materials, do not neglect the point of hostility. Things we are angry with, things we have fear. Okay, don't miss it. Very important. Comedy writing, yes. Point number 3, we have target, hostility, and the third one is an R, realism. For comedy to work, it must be true. And there must be some truth behind it, or else it doesn't work at all. Now, for example, people always think that you are a joker, you're a comedian, we cannot trust you, we are not serious person. Again, I must say this, the issue is so serious that I have to write a joke to put my points through. So it has to be something real. Now for example, okay, recently I just wrote a piece and it just say this, when you have reached your 50s, the insurance agents don't like you because you're very exclusive. You are excluded for all kind of diseases from heart, cholesterol, hypertension. So you are very exclusive. But there is another type of agents who are looking forward to have people like us, the over 50s. And they are the Memorial Park sales agent. So that is a realism there. Memorial Sales Park agent. And of course it's funny. They're looking for us because they want to sell us a plot of land or columbarium. So again, the target is, of course, in this case, myself or the situation getting old and dying. And is there a fear and hostility against it? Yes. And is it real? Yes. So for comedy to work, it must be truth in it. There must be real, and if not, it doesn't work. Now, of these 6 ingredients or principles, the fourth one is an E. The first is T, H, second. Third is R, realism. And of course, the fourth one is E. The first E, of course, exaggeration. Now, for comedy to work, it needs to exaggerate. Right? And without exaggeration, it's just facts. It'd be just probably ranting or telling, it's a National Enquirer or National Geographic. It's just pure facts. So what you need to do is, for comedy to work, it has to have what we would call exaggeration. For example, an interview with a minister. Say, sir, okay, what is your vision for your ministry? Well, for the ministry, we have a vision to build another 2,550 highways in this country and all across. And in fact, we want to build one all the way from West Malaysia all the way to East Malaysia so that we can save the transport time for people. And when would you see that happening? Oh, in 3 years' time. Sir, do you think in 3 years you can build so many thousands highways and all across the peninsula to the East Malaysia? Well, there's a saying in our ministry, where there is a highway. So don't neglect the importance of exaggeration. I exaggerated by setting up the numbers, few thousand highways. And the other exaggeration is building a highway all across from peninsula to the East Malaysia, which is about 800 miles away. So I exaggerated with all these kind of things, by distance, by numbers, and of course I tell them, hey, I'm going to build it within 3 years. Is it possible? So this cannot be real. The numbers are not real, but building highways are real. So the issues are real, but the numbers are exaggerated to tell people it is a joke. Come on, relax, chill. Don't forget, exaggeration. Okay, now on the fifth principle, we should talk about now is that we have talked about target, hostility, realism, exaggeration, and the fifth principle or ingredient is emotions, the second E. Now, emotions are the cleverness of the performer to act out, to present, and through their voice, through their facial expression, and using their body. I was watching Robin Williams yesterday, and he was amazing, when he goes into the voice of a Russian, my name is Popadov, and he goes into a real, you didn't see Robin Williams on stage, it was a Russian on stage. So acting and emotions are very important. Of course, the other thing is, the emotions that we talk about is also, are you angry about the situation? Are you a victim and you act like a victim? Are you sad? Are you happy? So all these emotions are very important. Okay, so when you present your comedy, your materials, you have to decide and put down the emotions inside and act it out. Recently we have one girl who she has been performing for quite some time, and she is quirky. The word was quirky. She wasn't ugly, just that the way she dressed was so wrong, it's right. So we put on the emotions that she is a quirky comedian, and the material works for her. So there are a lot of quirky comedians out there, and actors out there, who don't exactly look like the hero type, but they are perfect for comedy because they have a persona and the emotions which is just right for the material. So acting and emotions through words and feelings are very important. Don't forget. The last ingredient of the 6 items of principles and for comedy materials writing is S, surprise. Remember, THREES. Target, hostility, realism, exaggeration, emotions, and the last one is surprise. Now, surprise is of course links to the way you exaggerate. Is one way of telling people it's a surprise or surprising them. But surprise can also be written into your comedy. I know you write it very cleverly and put it there. So for example, this is a story I wrote this some time back, and it says, 2 years after my wedding, I kept my promise to buy my wife a diamond ring. So I went to the shop, bought a diamond ring, put it in a nice, expensive looking box, and I stuffed it into her pillow. And in the middle of the night, when she come to bed, about 11 p.m., she slept on it and found the box. She saw the nice box, and she opened up the box, and she saw a diamond ring. And her eyes was tearing. She was so emotional. And then she looked at me, darling, why is the ring so small? So the surprise is, I set up, of course, it was a diamond ring. Diamond, everybody thinks big. It's going to be expensive. And then a nice box. And she was surprised, all emotional. And I'm taking you one direction. And then she said, darling, why is it so small? So the funny thing is, we take the audience one way and we push it the other way so that people can see the surprise. So surprise are very important in comedy writing. Don't underestimate all this. And when you write, you have to ask yourself again this question: is there an element of surprise? Surprise and cleverness in the materials are very important. You have to put it there. Without surprise, okay, it is just facts. Without exaggeration, it is just like a national news or documentary. So without emotions, it is just another piece of news. Without a target, it is just some happenings, random happenings. Without hostility, it doesn't work. You need to have hostility. And if the thing is not true, it is not real, it doesn't work at all. So the 6 ingredients are very important in materials development. Don't forget it. THREES. Target, hostility, realism, exaggeration, emotions, and of course, surprise. That's what you need for your materials. Now, let's talk about, the third of the Trinity of comedy. The first is, of course, audience, second, materials, and the last one is the performer. Now, you know why people laugh, we know how to write the material using the 6 principles of THREES. And now let's look at the performer. How do you know what kind of performer you are? So we have an exercise, and I call it the Monti copying exercise, which I learned from a friend and who taught me how to and put me through this exercise. Now in this exercise, the Monti copying exercise, we ask the participants to write down 3 things they like or love. I will use the word love. I will use opposite emotions. 3 things you love and 3 things you hate. And then of course, when they come on stage, we'll ask all the participants. Now they will tell us a list of 3 things they love, 3 things they hate. What do you like to hear from this particular person? They will choose an item, love or hate. And the participants and the person who is going to speak will be given 2 minutes. In these 2 minutes, this person will be telling us why they love, let's say, sushi. Oh, I love sushi because of this, They don't stop. They just have to keep digging. And keep talking for 2 minutes until they stop. And most of them will be exhausted after this particular 2 minutes. Now, why do we put them through this exercise? Now, this exercise is very important. It helps them to dig deep into their subconscious. That is very important because best comedy are written at the subconscious level to discover things that we actually know or don't know about. The second thing is, you have them to discover who is a comedic voice. What is the voice? During stress, we all reveal our own true personality. And most of the participants who are going through this particular exercise, you will see who they are. And the audience can see who they are. And the last thing is, they will discover a topic for themselves. by putting through this exercise through a group of people, they can see that, hey, this particular topic about sushi is actually not suitable for you. But had you spoke on let's say dresses, colorful dresses, it may work on you, on fashion. So the topic can be decided from then. So this exercise is very important. The Monti copying exercise, it helps you discover yourself, dig deep into your mind and discover a topic. Hi, this is Monty. Now, I have talked about the Trinity of comedy, which is the audience, the comedy materials, and of course, we talk about performer. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is the 5 techniques that can create laughter, okay, and the way where we can take the audience one way and take it another way. The first one is called Doubleentendre. Okay. Doubleentendre is a French word, means double meaning. And in other words, we use a method where we have double meaning. For example, this is a very old commercial, a very famous one. And this man was leaving for work, and then the son rushed out and called him, Dad, Mom says tonight is the night. And the man heard tonight is the night. And he went off to work, got home early, and he was very happy because tonight is the night. And when he reached home, he walked into the house. The wife says, "Hello, tonight's the night." And there at the dinner table, the mother-in-law, the parents, the friends, and everybody was there. So the whole idea is he was thinking something else, and when he arrives home, he was actually a party with something he had never thought of. So this is called a double meaning. So double meaning is very important in writing comedy, but there are other techniques which I will talk about later. So don't forget, double entendre means double meaning. That is the first technique. Let's start with that D. The second technique of the 5 techniques for writing comedy is called association. Start with an A. First one was, of course, double entendre, and now association. That means we associate something with something. For example, someone asks me, "How's your life?" Well, my life is like a bit like a Ferrari, fast and expensive. So you link something to something. So this is a joke where we will put, let's say, try to explain a situation at this point with another situation at another point. So, don't invite him for dinner. Okay, he eats like a shark, or some say he drinks like a camel. So there is an association of one thing to another. Okay, and how is his life? A bit like a zombie. Okay, alive and not moving. So that is where we talk about association. Association is a very powerful technique where we find something, and sometimes you do not wish to attack a situation, an issue directly. So you choose another situation and attack the situation. Just recently we have this man who just, a real situation. Oh, this man just dressed in a t-shirt, wear shorts, and he was holding a piece of paper and was wearing slippers, and he walked into the bank telling them that I am here to check your fire extinguisher, and he took 600,000 away. So I want to attack another situation using this, and of course I would say, oh, well, that was good, but I knew somebody who started a company and took more money than that. And of course, this situation is only contextual to people of certain countries and nations, and they will understand. So we will use association as a method to deal with a situation, or fear, or an anger. Now, the third techniques of comedy writing and creating surprises is a technique that starts with R, called reform. Now we use it to change a little bit of the word and make it funny and different. the day, that's an exercise we do. You know, for example, the day we took a word, Steve Martin. So we ask everyone, sorry Steve, this is an exercise. I said change one word and make it funny. And one of them took off the M and put an F there, Steve farting. And of course, this is what reforms means. You just change a little bit, but make sure that the original structure or features are recognizable, that we know we are making fun of someone. In this case, Steve Martin. So reform is just changing one letter or one word, you know. There's another one we can look at is when you tell a joke, you know. I'm studying in Open University and I owe the university so much money. Instead of OU, I just call it IOU. So reforming is just taking the original context and change a little bit, but most important is people can still recognize the original. I mean, it's like, I will not change my name despite my race, you know, I will not change my name despite my face. So you just change the R to the F. So you take the original and keep it and change a little bit. This technique is called reform. It is very useful for cliches, very useful for things that have been overused. So you can use that. Try that, it's very important, especially on cliches. Comedy is also about rewriting, and the fourth technique about rewriting, especially on overused cliches, what you call takeoff. You know, something that take off, and not take off. Okay, it's take off. In other words, an old line, a new word at the end, just to change it and make it different. So this is good for cliches. And for example, my maths. Oh, okay. I failed my maths so many times. Okay, that's, or any subject for the matter, but unless I use maths. Oh, I failed my maths so many times. I lost count. You know, or I can't count. So in other words, just to play with it, play with the puns or play with the sound. Another one is like, wow, my favorite subject is maths. That's the only subject I failed in O levels. So that is something for a line and a takeoff. For example, okay, that's another one. You can look at a takeoff line. Is that a racehorse was very sick. Owner took him to the vet, and the owner asked the vet, "Will I be able to race her again?" Okay, that is a common line. Will I be able to race her again? And the vet answered, well, definitely you can race her, but I'm sure you will win. So here's the line is talking about, yes, you can race a horse for sure, you know, and you will win. So the takeoff line is, the owner will beat the horse. In other words, telling you, hey, the horse is not going to race ever again. So this is another way of looking at takeoffs, you know, adding something at the back. It's like, my mama is so fat, or my mother is so fat, or I am so fat. There's takeoff line at the back. So takeoff is also very useful, and it's quite a commonly used technique, you know, in comedy. Especially writing old jokes or cliches. Last technique, which we'll call the simple truth. Okay, simple truth. In other words, taking the word back to the original meaning. Now we have talked about the first one, double entendre. We have talked about association. Then we talk about reforming the words, and then do takeoff. And the last one is called simple truth. In other words, you're taking the words to the original meaning, which over time this word means something else today. Like, for example, I just went to a gay party. Now, today, people associate gay party to a certain lifestyle. And the original meaning is gay. It also means happy. Oh, I went to a happy party. So a gay party. There are so many other words which have changed meaning over, the meaning has changed over the years. And we want you to take it back to the original meaning. And one of the words that phrase that has been perverted is son of a bitch. Son of a bitch basically is a puppy born of a female dog. Now, if you can rewrite it in such a way and bring it back to the original meaning, that would be great. It's like, whoa, I am going back home to see my son of a bitch, you know. And you're talking about the puppy. Now, so this one needs a bit of crafting, and it's not easy because the meanings may have changed so far that taking it back to the original may be very difficult. For example, the word girl. Girl, a few hundred years ago, it simply means young people of either sex, boy or girl. But today, girl simply means the female. So it's a female. So if you try to change the word girl now back to the original meaning, which is like 300 years ago, that's what it meant, it doesn't work. So you need a lot of crafting. Simple truth is good technique, but it needs a lot of crafting. And most important in this case, for simple truth to be used, is the group of audience you have. If they are matured, English educated, and they are smart, and they know the language well, yes, it will work. Not just English, any language for that matter. Okay, whether you're doing in Chinese or Tamil. So the last technique is simple truth. Another favorite of comedy writing is looking for things which is different, you know, and we call it oxymoron. And certain phrases, they have two meanings of opposite meaning. For example, found missing. We use, you know, oxymoron is very interesting. You know, when you look at it, he was found missing. The other one is, I was just looking through and I found this called Living Dead. They made it into a movie. And of course, good grief. You know, grieving is good? Wow, okay. So the other oxymoronic word is working vacation, yes. Then the other one is larger half. Half is already it should be half, equal both sides. How can you have a larger half? We have soft rock, extinct life, and we have this plastic glasses, alone together, exact estimate, taped life, small crowd, even odds. So these are funny little oxymoronic words that you can try to spot and use it for your own comedy writing. Well, we have an even odds. It's like a winning. In other words, I could be winning, I could be losing. You know, you can use it very wisely. So oxymoron is a very interesting what you call phrases that you can use, like pretty ugly. So try it. You may find something interesting out there. Oxymoron.